So, hello everyone. Dhara is with us. She wanted to share with everybody, like she's very excited about the group, and she said that I want to share with everyone what is business analysis, what is business analytics, because some people have some confusion around there, as well as she has a lot of understanding what are the entry level roles, and she had some resources she thought it would be good to share with everyone. So, this is what today's topic is about. She has around 14 years of experience, Dhara. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
In IT industry, she started as a quality assurance analyst and then she moved to business analyst. And
No, I
she's
started as a developer. Sorry to interrupt, but I started as a developer back in
okay.
India.
Yeah. And then I saw quality assurance also in your profile. And then you are a BA, a lead BA now in NAB. So that's awesome. That's very great journey. So
You?
I'll not take too much time. I'll just allow you to share the screen. And yep.
All right. Yes. Let me. No, it says you've disabled. Oh yeah. Now it has. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Sounds good. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. So, just a bit about myself. I was a developer back in India. So I've completed my engineering back in India. And I worked for a few years in India. And then, I decided I wanted to study further. So I moved to Australia. I did my master's here. And after coming, one of the key problem was getting a job here. It was really hard with the visa statuses and everything. So I learned my way through how I got into this role and how I moved from a TR to a PR while working as well. So I started my career as a quality assurance analyst back in Australia, and then I moved myself into a BA. So through my journey, what I learned, some of the tips and tricks I like to share with you, and how people have a bit of misconception between analyst and analytics. As Isha said, I'd like to discuss that as well, and some of the roles, like I'd like to share as well. So the topics I'm going to cover is, just about myself, which I've already said. What are the different roles in IT? I know there are, people have that questions like, these are the roles on me I want to go with. And then what's business analyst to analytics, and then how you can land some of the options, there are different ways on how you can land your first job. So I'll share some, and I've got some sites and examples how I'd like to share, and then a few questions. So this is just, I've worked into different industries like telecom, banking, supply chain. I won't take much of the time, but right now I'm working within, regulatory reporting. So it's a completely different line, a new one. So as you know that, let me just put it in my presentation mode. So as you know that, in the current IT world, the roles topic have lots of different things. People will put fancy names in the front, like CRM business analyst. What's a CRM business analyst? It's still a business analyst role, but they want someone who's specialized in a CRM kind of a technology, customer relationship software. Or they talk about business intelligence analyst. Business intelligence analyst pretty much is a similar to data analyst. So just people give it a fancy name, most of the companies, and that's where people get a bit confused, and when they talk about it. So when they talk about data admin, what's a data admin? They're same like database admin. It's just a different term they use. Or they use a technical business analyst. Technical business analyst is pretty much more of functional BA. So there are a lot of different things. So I've put some roles which are really, when you go at, so the first column mainly is very basic roles, where you can start your career. Then you can move, if you're really interested into development. The second column talks about more of a developer kind of roles where you can get into. The third column is more where you want to go into analyst, which is a middle layer between the customer and the developers mainly. or the customer, the business, and the technology team. So they are mainly the middle layers. Then the testers are mainly, who work within the, help us support whether the tool what we've developed or software which we've developed, whether, makes sense. I know it was covered last week, so I won't go much into detail into that. And then we've got a bit of a higher level where, engineers fall into, and architects and solution designers, that's the career you would look into if you have a goal in your mind that, you want to get into this kind of role. I won't discuss or describe any of those roles, but it would be good to, have a just read on Google. They'll really help you. This is the main thing where I would like to discuss, analyst to analytics. There's not a much of a difference. You can jump between the roles. That's absolutely fine. You need to be very focused on what you really want to go. So business analyst will not just analyze data. Business will analyze, the softwares. They'll analyze, how people use day-to-day, how they use the system currently, and then, how the process is working from end to end, especially like, for example, you go for applying a loan. The loan process is, you start getting the documentation, then you fill in the application, then you submit, then it goes to the credit checker, then it goes to the analyst. They evaluate your creditability, and then you finally get the loan and then settlement. So that's the end-to-end process, and that happens within the system. That's what the business analyst will try and identify, what the process is, where are the gaps. Whereas when you talk about analytics, specifically business analytics or analytics as a common word, what it means is there is historical data. The company has worked for years and they've collected a lot of data. And what they want you to do is, they want you to help find a trend in what kind of data it is. For example, like, let's say if you take a bank, and bank wants to evaluate what is currently, what age group people are applying for, or, are mainly our customers. For example, they say, oh, we have maximum number of customers between the age of 18 to 30. What can we do to benefit and target customers who are 30 and above? So they might develop a product, or they might give a special offers to these customers to attract them. So that is the kind of trend or pattern they want you to find, and is there a is there a reason why people are not going for a certain product? For example, nobody's going for flexible loan. They're only going for variable, fixed term. Why are they going for that? Is there a product has a problem, or is that something, is just the market trend? And that's what analytics falls into. When you talk about different roles, when you go into analytics, your very first target roles should be analyst or data engineer or scientist or data architecture. Data architect is very on a high level, but data analyst or a junior analyst is where you're targeting, because those are the roles where initially they want you to step into, understand how the data structure is, what are the kind of tools available, what is the how can we extract information, how does the reporting tools work, and all those kinds. But that does not mean you can't step into analyst. Analysts also do some kind of analytics on the data, but on a very high level, whereas analytics would do on a very detailed level. So that's where you would talk about. So for a business analyst, there are technical and system analysts similar, because both talk about, functional, non-functional, and all those. Data analyst I put in out there just because they you can step into that. Analyst would fall into that category. Cloud BA is, where you want to talk about AWS or Azure related topics. Business analyst is purely, they work along the strategic projects where, they will tell you the business whether is the project feasible, is the ideation what you have, does it make sense, is it going to create any value? That's kind of a business BA. Process BA is where, you're looking at more of, whether is there a gap in our process. For example, after you fill the form, there is no communication to the customer. How would the customer know that, his loan has been approved or is in process? So there is a gap there. So those are process BAs who would identify the gap. They even call a process analyst. So, but they do fall into the business analyst category. From methodology within a BA or analytics or anywhere, agile is what people always use, agile BA. But what is agile? Agile is only it's kind of a method on how to manage a project. Within that, there are frameworks, which is Kanban, Scrum, or DSDM, or extreme programming, which each company, based on the project, based on their how maturity the company is, they would decide on that. And some of the tools, like, for example, very standard tools, Jira, which is more of, capturing your requirements. Confluence, where it's a similar to Word, you can say, because it's like documentation, wiki kind of thing, but on web. So it's shared by everybody within the organization. Some communication tools like Zoom, Teams, WebEx, Office 365 is pretty much your Word documentation. PowerPoint, Excel. Sorry. Yeah. And some cloud technologies, which is, right now very much in trend, AWS and Azure and, Salesforce and MS Dynamics. Those are the things what you really want to have at least an understanding, because the first four is very common. You need to have a bit of a background, but number 5 is very specific if you want to go in a very, very specific kind of a role where they are looking at specific requirement. Other on data analytics side, these are some of the reporting tools and languages which are being used. So Tableau and Power BI is reporting tool. Python and R is a language which you use to extract the data and do some, analysis. Excel, you get the data in the Excel format to do further analysis of, write some macros and everything to do some fancy reporting for the business or seniors, who want to make some decision. So it's kind of a decision-based role, where you're helping them with them to decide what they want to do as a business and how they want to profit. This is a traditional BA. I just put, it's a very easy diagram. Entry level, where you want to step into. So, these are the roles which you go into. So I was in the last category, which says developer or a quality analyst. Where I stepped into to get into a BA position. So, it's not even MBAs can get into a BA role, or even if you have a specific domain, example, you studied finance all through your life and you want to go into a analyst role, you can step into it. It's not that you can't step into it, it's kind of that way. And then you go into senior BAs, you can become a SME, which is more of a subject matter expert. If you have worked in the banking sector for years, you could become that. And then you can go on the vendor side, which is more of a product management and technology analyst or consulting way, but that's more of a senior side. This is another, just a pretty diagram Isha will share, but these are the options where a BA, after becoming a BA, you can step into a lot of these roles. You can become a Scrum Master, project manager, program manager. You can go into security. You can go through a normal head BA position, which is where I am at the moment, going through lead BA and getting into that position slowly. But the main target is you should be very focused on where you want to be. You don't just think, because I've done IT, I want to get into an IT role. You will never land up, because they want to see how passionate you are. It's all in your communication. It's all about showing them that you want to be the conduit between the development team and your business, and you really want to help grow the company. So that's what they are looking here, because your study is not that great, study, they don't matter. I've got a people who's just done art and still a BA. So it's not kind of that way, it's more about they want to see how passionate you are in learning. Please, sorry. Yeah, so that comes to an end on more of a BA side of roles, BA side of things. Any questions on the BA side before I jump into more of, how you can land within the first IT roles and what are the different options you can go with, and some useful information, especially for the freshers. Sorry, just give me 1 second. It's okay, Mama, I'll do it. Any questions from anyone?
Hi, Dara. I have a quick question.
Yes.
How technically sound should a BA role be? Like a person who are applying, a non-IT person, should be technically fit to apply for a BA role, or is it something that we can just learn? Just the tool knowledge is more than enough?
Not really. So there are people from the business who do step into that role. That's not impossible. It's just that, they would want to initially ask you to get into a lot of, whether can you do the requirements? Are you passionate to learn? Do you have a knowledge into that? Very, very rare, where you would mainly go towards a tech BA. You would more try to be on a business BA where you're helping business develop the strategy on how you can improve that particular team. Because if you go on the technical side, what happens is, initially the first step you can go on. I'm not saying you can't go, but initially when you step into the technical BA, if you don't know what the technical team words they are using or how the infrastructure is set up, you won't be able to write requirements for them. So you step into your first step goal should be a business BA, where you understand how the business is set up, how things get communicated between the different systems or different teams, and how business makes a process. And then you can step into a technical BA where you are okay to write requirements for the developers to understand the system and improve the system, kind of thing. But it's not impossible. I'm telling you, it's not. You can jump anywhere within the business. You can become a non-business analyst. Like, process people don't get involved in technology. They don't know what's happening in technology, but they still want to see the overarching process, that this is how the world look like for the customer or for the company.
Yeah, and in fact, Dhara, I think we get um, call from similar like queries from people who want to come to BA from a non-IT role, and they are successful. They are getting successful,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not just about learning the technology. It's more about, are you able to find, especially like when you go on a business, if you go on a system and you're just doing something, if you're doing that work day to day, you won't feel that there is a problem in that work. But it's taking you maybe half a day to do that work. But as a BA, you try to find out, can the system help you reduce that from half a day to 1 hour or 2 hours? Yes, if it can, then that means your requirement is that, how can I make the system improve? So if you can do that, you're fine. It doesn't matter. So nothing like that. As I said, I have a team, I have a member in my team who started, as she was a receptionist on a real estate, and she's made a change to business analyst, very fresher. This is her second project, and she's fine. There's nothing wrong. She needs a bit of a hand holding, but that's where, you'll have your seniors to guide you, help you, assist you during there. And each and every firm has a BA practice team where there are very community of practice, which they say, where all the BAs meet up, they share, these are the templates, this is the lesson what I learned, how I faced the difficulty. And you can always use this as a learning for you. And it's a good way to have a mentor out there. Does that answer your question, Sindhu?
Yes, it did. It gives us some positivity because I don't have any local experience here. So yeah, that gives me a bit of positivity. Thanks a lot, Dara. Thank
No,
you.
that's good to know. So I know a lot of people might be from a technical background who even have a gap in their study. Don't worry about the gap. It's normal for especially women to have a gap in their study, because everyone wants to give some time to their family. They've had kids, and it's fine. You don't have to worry. You don't have to even put it in your resume. You don't need to tell them why did you take a break. Just tell them that you took a break for your personal issues, and now you'd like to go back to your industry, and over the course of time you've learned few languages, you try to keep yourself updated, but you are more keen to learn the practical side of that as well. So if you put it in that way, positive way, you're gonna be fine. That's the other, especially when you have a break in your studies. People always think, oh, I didn't work, I've got such a 4 years gap or 10 years gap. Don't worry, you don't have to mention it to them. I've got breaks in my study. I've got 2 kids, so I did take a break, and that's fine. They want to show, they want to see that you are passionate to come back. You really want to, and that's what will drive your interview. So we'll step on the second few things, which is landing your first job. I know a lot of you are fresh graduates. You've done your program, you've done your masters, now you don't know what to do, and this will give you a bit of a guidance. So there are graduate programs which run in each and every company. It's a government thing, which most of the companies try and recruit recruit graduates. I know a lot of might be saying it's only for PR and citizens. You are wrong. If you have work visas, you can still apply for those roles, and I'll show you some examples at the end where they say where they mention it, how to see about it. And that's the other thing. If you for this, how you can go about approaching is, there you can go on few websites. Graduate Australia is a very good website which tells you about all the grad roles currently advertised. You can go seek as well, and graduate roles will not tell you business analyst, will not tell you business analytics or data analyst. It won't tell you those words, because the business is also trying to evaluate where do you fit right within the technology industry. So all they will say is technology role or support role or analyst role. They will say very, very generic words, and that's fine. That is how I stepped into. So I started as a quality analyst just because it took me into the IT role, not because it was a BA, and it wasn't a BA role, but I still stepped into it. And that's the way you step into your next role to get into the BA. Companies have lots of other internal programs where you can, like example, secondment programs are there, where the company will send you for 2 months or 3 months in a technology team, or they might send you in a finance team, or they might put you on a project to learn. And that's why graduate programs are very important if you can get through. Volunteering is another way you can go through. A lot of wants volunteers where you just do a certain piece of work, and that's how you build your references. Get your references to write you a good reference on your LinkedIn profile, and try and they make you meet a lot of other people, and that's how you build your community, your community, and then you try and apply through them. That's another way. Internship, reference, or mentoring, networking. So all these fall, like, there are lots of internship programs happening here. I know Professional Year gives you one, but there are other internship during your college. You might have had small 2 months or 3 months internship you go through, or you do a certain course. For example, you do a project management course, and they might have 2 or 3 months of intern where you can go to a project and work as a support staff. Reference, where if you mainly on LinkedIn, if you see, it's a professional networking site. You can get in touch with lots of references from different companies you want to go into, but don't approach them straight away. You just click connect and you say that I want to connect with you, I've applied in your company and I want to know about it. No, who would want to help you if they don't know you? So more of approaching them is that I'm really keen to step into a BA role, and I know that you are working in this industry industry. Would you be able to mentor me or guide me on how about I can land a job, or how about I can land in your company you're working in, and get some mentorship from them. Would you like a coffee, and would you be able to spare a few minutes to guide me on how I can improve my career? So those are the ways you talk. You don't tell them I just need help. Who would do it? If that person doesn't know you, why would he refer you? So that's a way. There's lots of it's not necessary you need to be a friend with a business analyst. Be with recruiters too. Recruiters will tell you what are the businesses looking for, and they can give you some tips and tricks. Do this work, or help in here. And they're really great. I'm telling you, recruiters do give you a lot of support here. Smaller roles, like if you go on one shift website has a lot of like 1 day role, a 2 day role, or a 1 week roles, where it's just technology related. It may not be exactly analyst role or something, but it will give you some technology knowledge. If you go in, there are lots of technology related roles. Shorter contracts is another way, where if you go online and they might need a junior product owner, a product coordinator, or a product analyst, a project analyst, and those kind of things, shorter roles where they just want you to come and help them with the reporting, or and all these jobs are very, very clearly advertised. If you have a look, I'll show you Graduate Australia when I have a look. So as a fresher, these are the kind of roles you should be looking at, service desk, support analyst. Once you get into help desk or support analyst, you are into the company. The first thing is you got into the company. Second, now, since you got into the company, learn how their systems are set up. What are the kind of questions they are asking? How can you, what is the, start analyzing, this is the problems which are coming for each system. This is the commonality. Then go and speak to your team leaders and tell them, this is where it is. I'd really like to work with the project team. Would you be able to, guide me? And the project manager himself will take you. The team leader will, try to push you in that. So that's a very faster way. That's how I did. I started quality assurance, and then, got some references. He taught me. He said, okay, this is how you step into the project. And that's how I got my first BA role. So it doesn't matter, level 1 customer service, that's even still help desk, because you're still helping people with their computer problems, with their system problems, or anything. So that's where. And then, technical support role is more very technical side. If you're very keen into infrastructure related, then technical support role is a very good one. Then there is, sorry, this is I'm in the middle, but project support, software developers, cloud engineers, consulting, these are some other roles which you can apply if you have 2 or 3 years of experience. Right now, a lot of companies are looking for BAs who are 2 or 3 years of experience. So if you have any IT background, please apply for some of the junior BA roles which are advertised in the market. I know there's a lot more. Last, these are some websites where you can go into each company website. They would have had a, expression of interest. Put in your resume in expression of interest, like I did for Genesis. That's how I landed in Genesis for at least an interview. Your first step is to get them to interview you. Graduate Australia has mainly graduate related roles, internships, short contracts. So that's a very good site. Grad Connection is also where you can, get a lot of those roles kind of thing. LinkedIn is very good to, get a lot of jobs as well. If you try and have a lot of mentors, you may have only 1 or 2 questions, but once you have, that person will remember, oh, this person was looking for a BA role. Maybe, I can try it out, or I can help that person by mentoring or by getting a first reference job because we're looking for a junior role, kind of. Meetups is another one where, there are a lot of, technology related meetups which happen. So try and attend those. That's where you will make a lot of, meet lots of BAs or lots of project managers. introduce them, get friendship with them. Once you get friendship, get them to mentor, and that's how you will land. One shift, as I said, like, you get shorter terms like 1 week or 1 day work or 2 days work, and that's a good profile building as well if you don't have any project experience to put it in your resume. Especially, there is a website which has on Graduate Australia, which has like 100 graduate employee companies, which you can go and, if you don't know how to go about finding how company websites, this is a very good article where, you can see hundreds of different company names where you can apply for graduate programs, and that would help you get at least a role. Right now, there are a lot of roles. I might just show something. I'm not sure if this shows. Just give me a second. Just my screen. So this is the page for Graduate Australia, and it has I've just put within in my search I've put is it search job. So at the moment, there are 220 jobs which are for graduates. So if you go into, search is not working. Oh. Okay, so if you see here, it does ask internship, part-time student jobs, which are in IT, or casual roles, or graduate jobs, and volunteering, early career, which is your first role, getting into the first role. What are you studying? If you put IT or technology, and grad, you can see right now there are this is 65, but there are a lot more roles out there. Have a look at this example. So this program is starting in February next year, and you can see they do mention what kind of people will be allowed to apply for those roles. So there's citizen, if you have full working rights, especially graduate students, when you get like 4 years post-study visas, work visas, you can apply for those roles, even if, and permanent residence. So all these 3 people can apply. So don't think that, only these people can apply, we can't apply. Yes, there'll be some roles, the nature, but if you see, this role says graduate program, it doesn't say, but if you see it says data analyst or consultants, there might be some keywords inside it which would tell you, this is one of the examples I share. I think there's few more, but yeah, we'll run out of time. So if you see this role just says trainee facility operations engineer, but it's still an IT related role, and this is with Amazon, and this still allows full-time working rights, and it's within the data center. Data center means, again, it comes related back to data. So you have to see for those keywords when you're looking for a role. But this is a 24/7 job. Are you okay with that? You'll get it. So yeah, I hope this helps.
No, that's really good, Dara, that you opened and showed everyone. So I think what you're saying is, if you have full working rights, even though you are not a citizen or PR, you're still eligible, right?
Correct. Yes, a lot of programs.
Yeah, yes. So it's like you should have full working rights, and that I think most of the students have. We got some couple of questions in the chat here. So Trusha is asking, can you please share the community or group good to join to learn BA related things?
There is no community as such to learn BA related things. Each company has its own BA practice community where all the BAs meet up once a month or once a week, where they discuss about all the BA related questions they have, or BA kind of templates they want to share, or they want to share what are the risks they had in the projects or something they learned. But as such, external, there is not one, because of privacy reasons. Being one of this, nobody would want to share what their business project is doing out there, so you can't do that.
Do we have any groups on LinkedIn for these, like business analyst groups?
There is, yes. LinkedIn does have one group. I can share. I don't have it right now on me, but I will share. I can share that link with you, Isha. You can share it with the team. Okay. There is a BA related, group. There is another, I'm not sure if anyone knows, but there's a lady. I think her name is Estia or ST something. She's not an Indian, but she's a non-Indian, but she does volunteering sessions on BA related questions, like she'll help you with BA related stuff, and it's a good group because you'll learn a lot about the BAs and what are the BA practices or frameworks, what they are using within the industry. But it's very on a general level. It's not very specific to a particular industry. I can share. I think I know.
I think still it will be helpful for them to see.
She does she doesn't do a lot, but there is a lot of short videos on her study, what she shows.
Okay.
BA related. Yeah.
Sindhu is asking, for people like me who have a long career break, are not eligible for graduate program. In that case, what are the ways to get into the industry?
Yeah, so you should be trying to get into the same role as what you started. So if you had a career break as a developer, try to very first step would be try to upskill in the new technologies within the same. So for example, you've been a developer. I was a developer. I started with .NET. Now I have no background of what Pega systems are, what Azure and AWS and DevOps and backend, front end, mobile to mobile softwares are being used. Try to learn those ones, on a basic level. Remember, the base remains the same: Java, C++. Yes. Yeah, try to learn those and then get into the same field. And once you get into that, then you can progress yourself. But if you can still try for other roles, but for other roles they might say, oh, you don't have experience, you should start as a fresher or a junior. The easiest, fastest way, get into the same role as what you stopped, because they know that you have a basic knowledge of that. Or
and what I see is, Dhara, that it is a tough choice, but there is no wrong decision here, because
correct.
if you choose to come back to your own line, yes, you will need to upskill yourself and you will need to focus on that. And if you still choose to come as a BA, again, you will become a BA. Maybe it will maybe a longer path, a smaller path. So
yes,
at the end, you need to just what will hurt your career is not deciding
taking
that.
the first step. Yes, not taking the first step, waiting for the right role. No, I've done analytics and I want to go into as a data analyst only. I'll keep waiting for it. You'll miss out. Don't just go for help desk, or service desk. You will still, that you at least got into the IT industry. Then you move within the company. Moving within the company is more easier than landing your first role, So once you go into the company has so many training programs, learning programs. You can move within teams, within different departments, and that would get you into that role. Sindhu, you can start, at least get the first role within the same field. Then after a few months, ask the company, ask your managers, that I'm keen into learning this. Is there any program or any way you can transfer me to another department for a few days to learn, or can you assign me a mentor who can help me, guide me on how I can go about getting into that certain role. And that does, I am getting mentored. Even though I'm a lead BA, I'm getting mentoring at the moment to get into a project manager role. So that's fine. That's the only way for you to learn.
So next question is by Trusha again. She's asking, which course do you recommend for beginner level BA?
Courses, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't, for a BA, you don't want to learn a lot of courses at the moment. All you want to have is the basic knowledge of AWS, Azure, Babok, which is, a framework which the BAs use. You don't have to have certificate for Babok. I know a lot of companies do ask, but that's where you have already worked for 2-3 years and then you do Babok. It's good. If you just do Babok straight away, it's very hard to understand what are these terminologies and why they are using it. What are they talking about? So I would just say have basic knowledge of AWS, Azure, and your Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Learn a bit more on Jira and Confluence, and
I think, Dhara, how about writing user stories?
Yes, I mean, so if you know about that comes part of like, you're studying more of a BEBOK and all those, there's a agile section within the BEBOK, which talks about, methodologies and user stories and, Scrum methodology and framework, about all those frameworks within agile. So you should have that kind of knowledge. Tool wise, there is no any recommendation for any course, or even, for a BA. I don't think there's any I haven't done any. I haven't done any. So all I've done is, if you have a fair understanding of IT and how the infrastructure words and terminologies they are using, you would be fine. Just try to, read as much as possible. It's more about behavioral type. BA is more of a behavioral type role where, they want you to be the conduit. Yes, you can, if I pass on the message, if you pass the message correctly to the other team member, you are good. You play that messenger game. You want to have at the end, the messenger should be the same to the last person. But if your messenger is different, you are the messenger, and if you pass the message incorrectly, the end product is wrong, you are to blame. So that's where you have to step into. You need to make sure you are very clear with what the business is asking. Ask 10 times, 100 times, they'll still answer you. It's all in your talking.
Looks like there's one more question.
If you need to switch from QA to BA, how do you structure your resume? My current employer doesn't have a BA role for me to switch within company. Okay. Even my company didn't have from QA to BA, but I did apply for a junior BA role. There are a few roles within the junior BA out there at the moment. As I said, 2 to 3 years of experience. So you can show that, in your resume, put that as a quality assurance analyst or quality analyst. I did a lot of analysis on the quality of data we are receiving, or the quality of calls we are receiving. And that would help you, get the requirements for your BA kind of thing. You use your analysis skills in your current role, and you can use that as within the BA role as well. So you're showing that you are learning similar kind of requirement, because it's more on job requirement, right? If they are talking about, we want you to be analyzing data, you can use that, based on the calls and the analysts, what the call center representatives are using. I've used that as my base to analyze the result and provide a more feasible reporting, or how we can improve the process. BAs even improve processes. So you can write about process, how you help your data, help them improve the process. So those are the words you would use to cater in your resume that, you used, and this is some of the responsibilities which a BA also does. So I'd like to step into that BA role. That's how you put it. Use your work related stuff. BA would only do few things, analyze requirement, workshops, communication, testing for UAT, and handover. That's it. If your words fall within any of these categories, you couldn't get into a BA.
Okay, that's nice. Any other questions? We'll be ending this session otherwise. Okay, looks like no more. Dhara, it was wonderful. I think in short span of time, you gave so much information.
Thank you.
I think everyone here, it was very engaging presentation. Thanks for taking out time and to share with me this presentation so I can share with everyone.
Sure. Just to let you know, I think there is a role which is expiring tomorrow. So if anyone wants to apply, go for it. You might get into, I think this is closing in 5 days, but I did open a role which was closing in 1 day, which is tomorrow. I think this is the role. Yes, this is the business. If anyone from analytics background should apply for this role, this is intelligence analyst, and this is saying multiple cities, and this would be really helpful. It's expiring tomorrow, so closing date for application. Go for it. You get it. Yeah, see, it's got that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
Dhara, so
you.
much. Thank you.
Hope my session was helpful to everyone, and thank you for listening to a lot of me for
Thank
50
you.
minutes.
Oh, it was very good.